you to view life from another lens, regardless of your season. Come on in, sisters. Let's talk.
Brings me to my next question. It brings me to my next question that we've been asking. Actually, we answered it as well on the last episode, if you guys listen to it. So
please listen, because that was hilarious when we tried to ask
so we asked our spouses. So Frida, I'm going to ask you this one. So after that intense fellowship, if he hurts your feelings, Nana hurt your feelings by saying something mean, or he should not have used those words that he used in the order that he used them, because sometimes it's not even what they say, it's how they say it.
Or the attitude.
Or the face that came with what he said.
Like, I just standing here, but have you seen your face?
Do you A, shut down, B, snap back or respond, C, cry, or D, return the favor? Don't think about it.
No, I wouldn't cry, but I'll probably look at him. Like, I always do the cross eye, like, I do that face. I have a face
so
like
that's
I do.
B.
So, yeah, what is the B again?
Respond. Snap back or respond.
Okay, I won't respond. I'm not like I would just look at him, but I won't respond with words.
That is a response. It doesn't have to be verbal though.
Okay, it won't be verbal. Like I won't way back then when he said something he shouldn't have. I just kept quiet, and he didn't even know he had hurt me, so I had to.
Is that shut down? So you just shut down for a little bit.
Yeah,
that's it.
So
what would you say, Nana? To A to B. Nana, what will your response be? A, B, C, or D? When she does something that was a no. What do you think?
I'll just be quiet. I'll just be quiet and silent. Yeah. And I'll just be quiet, silent. A couple of days will pass by.
Before it used to be months.
A couple of days. Then
so he has promoted. Yeah. So you've really.
And I intend to talk about it, but it won't be right away. I'll just be silent.
He's not the right away person.
No, it will never be right away. It won't be.
He'll come after me like, and you said that in like 2 months. Yeah. I don't remember.
It will never be right away.
Why is that? Why do you take so long?
No, I take so long because I don't want to say something or do something that will intend worsen the case or intend get me being the victim become a bad person.
So you've already labeled yourself as the victim when something happened.
Yeah, but I did the bad thing, so he's in the right. He means.
Do you know what I'm saying? So to me, I'm not. I will not, because I think in that moment, if I do anything or say something, we might not be able to solve the problem, but rather we might intensify.
So what goes through your brain? What are your thoughts for that time, that 2 months or that month time that you still processing it? Like, what are your thoughts?
She did something that wasn't right. I'm not going to make it a big deal. I will just wait and talk to her later. It's not like it goes to my mind, oh, why did I'm hurt or this or that. No. The only thing that comes really in my mind is, no, and I don't know if she will believe this, but it's really true. It takes me back to that pizza day and be like, oh, she was the one I said I want to be with. So, it's nothing.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later. Which sometimes he didn't get, thinking, oh, why didn't you, if it hurt you, why didn't we talk about it now? Why are you waiting? But to me, I think that even though we talk about it, it will, I don't really, I have a problem, but I don't have a problem. Because at the end of the day, we will solve it and we'll be fine. So I don't really, if it wasn't like learning from her, we need to talk about issues, solve problems. To me, it will be fine.
He's a barrier. His personality is that of a, like, let's bury it.
Mm-hmm.
If I can handle it, it's my wife. Who else would do this to me if not my wife? What's the problem? I have a wife.
So to me, we would just continue with life and it wouldn't be a problem. But she made me believe that we need to talk about it. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
We need to talk about it. And talking about it makes it go away. But to me, the very moment it was done, and I said, she's the one I wanted, like, I want to be with. It's nothing. Let's move.
So you've already resolved it in your mind.
Already in my
but
mind.
She doesn't know that.
No.
And
but
she is and she is feeling that you're still holding on to it. Yeah,
she will think I'm still holding on to it.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it's not there.
But then you bring it up later.
No. Bringing up later was she making me understand that we need to talk about it if you have a problem.
Yeah.
But to me, yes, I had a problem. It's past and gone. I don't want, like, I'm done with it. It's not like I'm holding it inside. I'm done with it. For her to say, she thinks that we need to talk about it so that at least it doesn't even happen again.
Yes. Yeah.
He's a product of his upbringing, which it's a whole other story. And it's not, it won't be healthy, even though he thinks he's dealt with it, and I believe you've dealt with it. It wouldn't have been healthy or good for our marriage if we did not, like, because I cannot treat him like how his people, family, like, bury things. I realize it's an ongoing thing, and it's not helpful to him. It won't be helpful to us.
Yeah.
So, by God's grace, we're doing better with the talking it out, and even with saying sorries both ways and all that. So this was one of the challenges we really had to overcome. It's not just saying when you're hurt, and it's not even thinking that when you admit that you're hurt that it's for him. It's sort of like, I'm not allowed, or it's not okay to be hurt, even though your feelings are really hurt. But he's been conditioned that way for so long, and he deals with it. Honestly, he has this capacity to love people that have wronged him that I really do not. And I'm more of that, hey, let's cut this person. But I've learned this from him, right? And it's really, like you were saying, that Jesus kind of love, because I can't. But I look at him and thank God that I was willing to learn, because he didn't tell me. Because those things used to turn me off. I'm those people when you see those Nigerian African movies and the woman is always there. Why are you there? I'll be screaming at the TV. This man is doing this to you. The family said, leave. He's like, I'll stay there and still be nice to them. I'm like, nah. But honestly, I've learned that from him. That I don't know how he does it, but I couldn't. We couldn't function like that. I realized that it's something that he's conditioned, or he's been conditioned since he was a kid. So we have to, as a married people, even as a really true friend, we have to talk it out. It's okay to say you're hurt. It's okay. Like, how do we move forward? I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
So if you're talking about, so say we have a listener that is currently their marriage, basically something happens and one person just stays silent, blocked, and that they're not easy to resolve. It's not easy to talk to even that person and say, hey, babe, how did I hurt you? And let's talk about it. That person goes silent and you can get through. And then that other person is waiting for that person to get to that point where they can actually get back to moving forward. How do they start? Like, how do they start getting, you guys have grown through it, you've come to that understanding. What would be that advice that you would give that person and say, what would that
Let me do it from my perspective, because you're the quiet guy.
Yes.
So then after you go.
But before you go there, hold on to that. Don't forget that. Okay. What I wanted to get from here is that the person staying silent. Is it that the staying silent and still keeping whatever issue inside and, just hurting, or they just keeping silent because they've dealt with it. It's no big deal. We move on. I want to get that clarification.
So there's no moving on. Like, it's almost like a malice. Like, that person is, you hurt me, I need my space, get out of my face. Or like, we just living here for this moment. Like, nothing is happening.
But I wonder, sorry, Frida, there's the other part of that, which I actually get what Nana is saying, because how, for the most part, he deals with things is how I would deal with things for the most part. I actually heard a pastor once say it, that when you know your destiny is with that person or with that spouse, you stop fighting. And it not meaning that you don't have all these disagreements or misunderstandings, but some things are just not worth it because your destiny is tied to that person. So I'm not saying every time how he deals with it is correct, but there are times when he's literally, it's no big deal. It's like, because this is, why do I need to fight over this? This is the person I'm supposed to be with forever and to do whatever.
But what if that other person doesn't know that that's what you're thinking? I think that's where Frida is coming from.
That's the other side of it, is you have to acknowledge both sides and communicate. So the two of them have to, we all have to communicate, because no one's in our heads, right? Even Frida, he wouldn't know what Frida is thinking. He would assume if I'm done with it, she's done with it. So, but there are times when he says that he literally has let it go, it actually is gone, because it's like, what's the big deal? What's the point?
What's the point? And so also, it's like, why do I have to drag this? We sit down. This is the beginning. We sit down, we talk. What are we going to talk? Then we are no more together, or what? Like,
exactly. What's the point?
It's like, are we going to talk then divorce, or are we going to talk and we are no more? Like, then what? That was my point.
Exactly.
I'm guessing with the other side, even they probably on the run, they want to hear from you that we are cool, but we are cool. I don't really need to tell you.
I'm not putting nothing about his behavior or anything change. He's like himself. He's loving. He's talking to you like nothing changes or shows any like malice or shows any anger or like, I'm not giving you this, or he used to do that, he won't do that. No. Nothing changes for him. It is resolved. But I will have to tell you a story, and which brought to mind that he cannot, even for himself, even though he's conditioned and learned this way, that it won't help us. We were not married. We knew each other. He was in Canada then. I was in the UK, and long distance. Oh my gosh! So something happened to a family member, and he had to get involved, and it was so overwhelming for him. So overwhelming, because none of the family members that were there wanted to help this family member. And at that time, I was used to him always calling. I would call back and all that, but I was used to him doing most of the work. And we were friends, well, on the verge of becoming more. But I was used to him doing most of the work, trying to reach out and, showing more love, showing more care, getting me this and getting me that. And I had been also conditioned that way, if you will. So when this thing happened to him, it's so overwhelming. He's having no support from anyone to help this family member. And he told me, and I think a day or two or something, and I hadn't called to check on him or what was happening and how he's coping, what was happening. And he flipped. Not in like angry. He just called really sad, so sad that he didn't think that of all the people who like treat him the same way, that I'll be one of them. And it was such a clear veil opening eye-opening situation for me in the relationship, for me to take a step back to see like, oh my goodness, like he is right. He is totally right. He was so hurt. He was so hurt. It took months for me to get through to him. He won't talk to me. He will call. I'll be calling and leaving messages. So this was a time where I had to fight for the relationship.
Yeah.
I now realize that, I really have been just being sort of like a taker, right, and not giving back. So this was a marker for our relationship, that even as we kept going on, I have to remind myself not to be that self-contained and be like, what am I giving back? And how I'm asking, is he doing well? And I'm so much in my head that sometimes it's, even now, you probably can tell you, it's something the Holy Spirit really has to remind me. But it comes back to why I couldn't just let him still keep on saying, I've dealt with it. Yeah. Because when something major happened that was overwhelming, he shut down. Yeah. He couldn't be my guy, that guy anymore. He needed, and if I didn't, or Holy Spirit or God didn't help me to keep that in mind with our relationship, I'll be lulled into that sense of, oh yeah, he got it, he's okay, he's okay, fine. And then what happened? Yeah. And then he will shut down. He's like, yeah, but like I can't do this, or So it was very important for me keeping that in mind, because it took months, almost a year. And you have to understand how this guy in his head, we are married already. For him to take such a stance, then that means that he had been hurt to the point. And it's something I couldn't ignore. Yeah. So even though, yes, he's conditioned that way, it could be something that can trigger it, or it could be anything. Yeah. And he doing normal stuff, working with you, you never know, right? Because again, our conscious and our unconscious mind plays a lot of things. So for me, it was always important that if it's happening, you want to talk about it. And even for him to ask me, don't just see me mad and be quiet and say, okay, well, she's mad today. It's okay. This was something he had to like, just ask what is wrong. What is wrong? Solve it. Oh, okay. Yeah, before I could be mad and, Joyce Meyer used to say this, I'll be laughing my head off because I totally understood her. Like, you're mad and trying to get an attention or trying to, in his mind, she hasn't said anything to here. Okay, yeah, just going on. Really?
So from what I'm hearing, being able to reach out to that person and knowing what's going on,
ask. Pretty much
is important.
Just ask. Just check in.
It's important on both sides, no matter the way we interpret conflict or interpret disagreement. It is very necessary to check in with the other person, because we don't know what's going on in their head, even though in our minds we've already resolved it, but that other person is having trouble resolving it or hasn't got to that point yet. So it is very important for us to check in with each other, especially when we have that one purpose that we're in this together.
Together,
Right.
When we are making this work. So for me, I think it brings out few things. We both have to have a vision of what we want, right? Fair. Plain, clear, knowing. And we have to communicate that to each other. And two, we really have to check in that saying I love you is not everything. We have to really actionably, intentionally show it. And it's not just how we want to receive it, it's how the other person really gets it.
Yeah. And the things, I'm not cutting you short, but the things that we do or happens tells you that I love you.
Yeah.
It's not that me saying I love you. It's what I'm doing.
Although it's nice to hear it sometimes.
The action carries weight. I love you. It's gone.
I'm not saying that.
I know. I understand. I'm just
I love you anything. But I mean, from what is going on in our daily life, you should know. He got me, I got him.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say.
I do.
love language, right? With how everybody's love language is different.
Yeah.
Because it's showing you through his work, and I mean like hardworking, providing, and all that. So if he's loving you more, he's like working harder. He's a workaholic for you, which of course doesn't balance, right? Because then you want the let's stay home, let's cuddle, or if that's your thing. Well, mine is more like let's go somewhere, let's have a date.
Yeah,
working. So really, it depends. Like you said, everyone's love language is different.
Yeah.
So someone have to be also mindful that that's him showing his love.
Yeah.
It's like
your partner, what at some point, I guess you should be able to figure out what his love means or what entails his love.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm adding to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because I will go by the fact that my wife will pray for this family, pray for me, pray for everything I'm doing, and trust me. Even if she doesn't say I love you, I know she loves me doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, she doing that is like I love you a million times.
Yes. And you value that.
Oh, of course. Me knowing that she's praying for me alone, just that, it's like I love you a million times.
Yeah.
So I think in the marriage, as you go on, I know when you start, I love you and I love you, I love you, it has to be there every time and whatever, okay? But as you grow, as you keep going, certain things has to tell you I love you.
Yeah.
Not to say nothing of I love you verbally is not coming. Understand it has to come.
Yeah.
Say it. We are at a point where we've driven away from that I love you to what are we doing to keep this I love you ablaze?
Yes. Yeah.
What are we doing? Oh, she's praying. Oh, she's doing this. Oh, yes, I know she loves me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this. I know she knows that I love her.
Yeah.
So as we grow, there's more into the I love you than just saying it.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say.
So I have one last question from me. For me, we have a question. My question is, so you are not newlyweds, you are in the game weds already,
Exactly.
11 years, 12 years, and you've known
12.
each other for even longer. So now you said something about love, keeping love ablaze. How do you keep the bedroom love ablaze after this long?
Time. Wow. Do you want to go?
No.
Do you want me to say? I mean,
I said bedroom, not living room.
No, I understand that. I know there's TV in the living room. The bedroom is a different ball game altogether. Yeah. I mean, 12 years. I think 12 years is the same as the very first time to me. You know, you got to, that's what I was telling you, that the moment I saw her, it was more of, I want to be with her. I've already married her. That feeling, it's already like there. So after the 12 years, it doesn't change. The bedroom story still remains the same. Still remains the same that you get there, you see her, and you're like, oh, this is me. Like, I have her.
I wish your listeners can see your face.
I know.
Oh my gosh. I think we'll have to take this clip out and we'll have to do a video for this one, because that face is like, I don't know. And I can see Frida's blushing, like when a brown skin blush, it is different.
Like, honestly, it's always, you know, that's what I'm saying. The first time wasn't about love, it was about being with her. So the very moment I had her, I'm like, okay, this is me, you know? So
it's a tree translation. I'm not in Africa.
I know what she means.
Like, so up till now, you still open things up and you're like,
this is you.
This me? Oh God! Like me holding on to that. Did I say something wrong?
No, it's your expression.
No, I love this. We just okay. Let me tell you. I've married for 17. Lucy is married for 5. So we are talking to a 5-year-old, and you're a teenager. So we just have to let her. Yeah, I totally understand.
Because honestly, it comes with appreciation. This whole bedroom stuff comes with appreciation. Yeah. It comes with what you see in the person.
Yeah.
Honestly, every moment, maybe I'm not thinking about it, but the very moment I get that chance to be in that sacred room and things go flying.
That's right.
The only thing that goes to my mind is, this is me? Is this me? Like, this is me.
This is you.
This is me. Like, this is me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, it's not like, it's the place where we do the thing and,
Right.
At the back of my mind, it's like, wow, it's me with her. That is how to me, it keeps us going, or keeps me going.
Yeah.
For all these years, and I guess I believe it's going to go on and on for that, because the whole thing of the appreciation makes it so like you're privileged to like, oh my God, is this the girl that was sitting there that is like lying there? Really? Why are you laughing?
I know we're laughing, and it's because it's not laughing at you. We're appreciating what you're saying, and you say it with so much vigor and so much conviction. But it's when you really think about it, it's very important. I mean, I'm 5, yes, you guys are later, and if you talk to people who have been 20, 30, 40 years, there's an element of that in it. You have to go back to the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. And seriously, that is because there are a lot of men and women that cannot express what that means to them and put words to it, or be able to see it the way you see it and being able to talk about it. And that is what we wanted to bring out in this series. Can we talk about these things, put words to these feelings and disagreements and agreements and all the things that we have in our head as couples? Because sometimes we go through life so mundane and it's like, we're there and stuff, but we do not let the other person feel like they matter to me. They make me alive. They make me. So you saying it that way I feel like it brings life to what God intended marriage to be. It is a fulfilling place that you feel special every time. And truly, that is my best part of this whole recording, seriously. I thank you.
I want to add my bit, because for him, he's so you get him. He's so unshakable and like the rock, really. And once he pictures it in his head, it's done. Like it's good. He goes back from all that, and it is done. It is good. But I'm always the one, because I need the question. I need to find out. Right? So was it good? We do, like, for those out there who might need, like, who are not like him. Is what I'm trying to say. You don't have like, it's good. It's fine. I have this, but it's also, you can check in. Was this good for you? Yeah. Was this fun for you? Is there anything else you want?
If I may say, I guess it's the lounge. We assume always that personality or his personality mainly comes with men, right? If you speak to a lot of men who are mature and so on, they would tell you it is what it is. so what Fumi is saying and what Frida is saying, I had to learn because that is his personality somewhat is mine. So I was like, okay, it's a done deal. Everything is, I don't have any doubt or anything. So why should you have any doubt? But I had to learn to give that affirmation. I had to learn to, like, oh yeah, you're doing good, or yes, I love you, or, all of that. I had to learn to actually show it, because to me, it's like, come on, this is a done deal. This is, there's no, as you're saying, Frida, there's no shaking, and my actions, you see it. But so I'm just saying that it can happen both ways. So even though some females, you still have to pay attention to that, to validate the partner. So generally it's just validating each other.
Mind you, it's something I had to learn because, like I said, I was also in my head before that usually these things will fly over me, honestly. And you know me, Lucy. I can choose to ignore it, or I can choose, it would just fly over my head. So this is something that I've also been learning. I'm not done with that learning, that to also stay in the moment, right? And to check in and ask those questions, because it's not very typical for me either. It's not like the norm. Just go back in a book and we're good. But to make it grow, like you said, to make it relevant, to make it important, or to make it like not dumbed down and becoming just something mundane. You do. Mundane. It's very important to ask and check in the question, because if you don't have this fireworks brain here who's always sparking, it's good to check in that, okay, what else can we do? What should we, any questions really, so that you're on the same page, if anything. Yeah. If you have, maybe you don't.
Final question, Nana and Frida. If you were to talk to a couple that is having problems keeping things ablaze and alive, not just in the bedroom, but as a family as a whole, what would be the one advice you'll give to them?
Date. I heard this thing just recently, but this has always been and I back him a lot, because his love language is working himself to the bone for you. So it's always the finding that balance. Date. And they said, what? We don't date to marry, we marry to date. And I would say, we married today, because I've always been, even when he would be like working. And I was like, nope, we need a day that we have to do something just us. And now we have kids. We do it with all of them. Dating, I think, is very important, because it just sets time aside where it's about you, even if it's a family date. Yeah. Do somewhere, hike. It doesn't have to be something extravagant, like candlelight. Well, if you want to do candlelight at home, do that. Yeah. But just go for a walk, even a walk. Something simple that you are with each other in that moment. Do it. Yeah. For me, it's something I'm very passionate about. Go somewhere together, travel, walk, do something together, date
together. Yeah. How about you, Nana?
To me, it will be more of appreciate and respect. Mm-hmm. Appreciate and respect your partner. Mm-hmm. If you're able to do that, you know the value of what you have. Yeah. Understand how it means to have that person. It makes you know what to do and what not to do. It makes you understand when to forgive and let things go. It makes you fight for the marriage in this situation. If you don't appreciate and you don't respect what you have and acknowledge what you have, it's like there's nothing that you're fighting for. You might love the person, something will happen because you don't have respect or acknowledgement for the person. There's no need fighting for it. Yeah. This marriage series of life that we have, it's every day it's like fighting for the marriage. Yeah. Working towards the good of it. Yes. Because at the end of the day, from just the two of you, then kids come and you're going, you realize that you have to really appreciate what you have to be able to things going.
Yeah.
So the love alone doesn't do it.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who taught me to say I love you. So it's his core belief, because I wasn't into I love you either.
So the reason why the I love you thing has to come in was that in the Bible says what? No, the Bible says what? Love what? Your husbands?
Yeah.
Or respect your husbands?
Well, the husbands love the wives.
Mm-hmm.
And then
the wife respects.
The
The reason why I kept, because, I wanted to, everything has to be a learning process.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? So for you, even though I knew you loved me, you telling me you love me all the time. I'm not telling you to say you love me right now or these days. No, from the beginning, I needed to make that I love you become part of us. Like where it would not be difficult for us to say I love you to each other.
Oh, I get what you mean.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From that beginning, something that I was trying to make us
open and vulnerable and each other. Yeah.
For all of us. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so to me, if I'm giving advice to newlyweds, couples, and it's just appreciate your partner.
Yeah.
Know what you have.
Yes.
Because the respect.
Yes.
The biggest thing that drives that bedroom going is the who I have for her. That I keep telling you, it's like knowing that, I have her. So if you keep knowing that I have this precious person, you do anything to keep the marriage going.
I have I would say I have a bird's eye view. I don't have like a telescopic view into both of your story. I have a bird's eye view from your story. And it is a unique one because it has beauty in it. For me, both of you had been married before, and both of you left those relationships, or those relationships ended, and you forming a new one. It reminds me of the verse in Romans that says, "We are a new creation. All things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new." Kadi, I'm going to start with you. What are those things, if you were talking to a newlywed or somebody that is looking for love after a divorce or a traumatic breakup or abuse or a break, basically? What will you say to that person, or give that person hope and say, look at me, you can find love after that. It is possible because.
Well, first of all, look at ours. It is possible. Yeah, I mean, it is possible. Doesn't mean that because you've had a past experience, like a very bad experience in your first relationship, that you will not fall in love and be in love with somebody again. It is possible to happen. And I can tell you that not because we're sitting here in our living room just cussing, it's kind of easy. I'm not going to say, hey, it was very easy. As soon as we did this and we did that, and bam, we got married. It wasn't like that. So one thing, it took like patience, perseverance, and because if I was not patient, or if you was not, we would not be here. Because we did not just date for one day, 1 year, 2 years. Because remember, when you are from, and some of these things I came to realize, you know what? Because I was very, very hard and said, being a Christian, coming from a Christian background, like I was like, the same thing that we said, sometimes you have to think about it. Not everything has to be very religious. Like when I say very religious, it's like,
Mhm.
okay, when you are dating this person, we have to jump into marriage.
Mm.
I was going through that kind of pressure, like very, very big pressure,
Mhm.
from a lot of angles.
Mhm.
I'm very overwhelmed, about that. So, but I'll say I reached to a point and listened to myself,
Mm.
listen to myself. Is this something that I want to do? Or I want to keep thinking about or listening to people and I break this relationship?
Mm.
Or something that I will listen to myself and work on this relationship? And I start listening to myself. And that was not, it did not happen just suddenly for me to start listening to myself. It did not happen just automatic. I listened to a lot of people coming from that, oh, it should be like this, is a, trying to listen to people. But when I was like, okay, he's a good man, I want to be with him.
Mhm.
And I start listening to myself. Said, okay, I want to work on this relationship. Now I'm not gonna take what people are saying to me and bringing it to this relationship. I'll listen to myself, what my gut feeling tell me, and ask him and bring it to him and said, this is what I want. And I always knew what I wanted
Mhm.
relationship when I was with him. I just like you said, we're independent people. He's an independent man. And I was like, we came together, both of us were independent before we came
Mhm.
together into this relationship. So, but at that point, I knew what I wanted in the relationship. So I started listening to myself and talking to him like, okay, this is what I, so it
Mhm.
is possible for you to fall in love again, after breakup. I don't care what kind of breakup, there is somebody out there for you.
Beautiful. Pastor, what do you have to add to that?
Well, what I have to add is the why. And in every relationship, that is so important. Why
Mhm.
do I, first of all, why do I want to get married again?
Mhm.
After all what you've been through, why do you even need to go? Why do I need to put myself through that?
Mhm.
So the answer to that why is it temporary
Mm.
or is it long? The answer to that why is it temporary or is it long standing? Now, for example,
Mm.
like if you don't have your papers here and you
Mhm.
say, I want to get my to get married to get my papers, well, that is
Mhm.
temporary.
Mhm.
'Cause you get your papers and then you ask yourself, what next?
Mhm.
If you see, you said that person, I understand where the person is going. And I want to go, first of all, I want to go into that person's life to help them to be more successful, that we can develop something together, not to just get things from them.
Mm.
That's the when you say again why. Do I go
Mhm.
beyond because they look pretty? Is that it? Well, people will get older, they'll change. The long, nice hair that is straight will be replaced with a wig. You know, all you look. No, I'm serious because then. But if the why was I'm looking for a partner for the rest of my life. So when I'm not able to even take care of myself, I have
Mhm.
somebody who's going to be with me. You're thinking
Mhm.
the long haul. So
Mm.
that is the why. And why? Is it because I'm desperate? Is it
Mhm.
because I'm so lonely and I feel miserable for myself? It's because I'm afraid that I might get an accident that nobody's there. Is that why?
Yeah.
Or is it, you know what? I think that I'm in a place right now where I can accept love and where I can give love and support somebody to have a joint goal together. So that why is just so important.
Wow.
It
That is
sure
deep.
is.
Mhm.
When you were saying that, I have a patient. It was the man got sick. They are in middle age. The husband got sick, and the wife. That was it. She said, I didn't marry you for this,"
You see?
and she was gone. Like
Oh
they have
wow.
two kids. She left the kids. She said, "No, this is not what I signed up for."
See?
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That is eye opening. So the why matters. So,
Yeah.
Pastor, we've been trying to be really practical on this show and we're rounding things up, but I just want to. So, some of us did not have that why before we started. Some of us didn't even know we needed to have a why. We had this tingly feeling and we know we needed to get things, we needed to come together and make this thing work because that's how we've seen it work before. Some of us did not have why. Is it too late to have a why if we're already in it? Is it too late to have a why?
Well, there was a why,
Mm,
because then you had to make a decision, why am I getting close to that person?
okay.
Maybe it was not really well, maybe it was not well thought out and like
Mm,
defined and everything like this.
mm-hmm.
Well, whether you like, what, I'm gonna get married to that person because that person is cute. Well, that's your why right
That's
there.
your why there.
I'm
That's
gonna get
right.
married before somebody else take him. That's your why right there. So it all depends. But
Okay.
it's just as we were talking, I just thought another idea is
Uh-huh.
we go back to our life as children.
Mm,
Where that's how we grew up when we were innocent, and how like kids play with each other as friends, and they have sleepover at each other's house, and they get a little trouble, they fight, sometimes they even bite each other, but
mm,
guess what, they come back and they play together and they love each other. Marriage in a certain extent, in a more mature way,
mm,
should be like this, where we
mm,
play with one another, we take care of one another, we buy gifts for one another, and then when we do have a little trouble, we do everything to become friends again. But
mm,
as adults, man, we've learned to be dependent. We learn to be defensive. Our mouth have gotten like powerful, like so. Our mouth are like bazookas. What I can tell you. We have gotten as adults, man. Nobody knows. Have not had any choice but to bring ourselves to that place for survival. So
yeah.
somebody put you into trouble, it's like, what, I'm going to fight for myself. But then when I realized that whole innocent, that's why Jesus said that to enter the kingdom, you need to be like a child,
Mm,
teachable, lovable. You can be respected and look up to somebody. The adult thing is a selfish one. The adult thing can be
mm,
very hard and mean, and you don't even feel, it's like you're an adult, you do whatever you want, I do whatever I want, I'm independent. But like
mm-hmm.
a child will say, can you be my friend? Can we play
Oh.
together? Can you come over? That innocent heart. So yeah.
Pastor, that was nicely said.
Oh, yeah.
It was nicely said. It's a good analogy. I love it. It is.
Yeah.
It is, especially when you have kids now. When you see
Mhm.
them growing up, and you see them being so up, like mine is so opposite, and then sometimes you see them so loving. Like last night I was lying, or the night before I was lying down in bed, and my older one was getting ready to go to bed, and she went into his room and say, "Are you asleep already?" It's like, "Good night, good night, I love you." We're like,
See?
Okay,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
that
See?
that is beautiful. It doesn't happen all the time because sometimes
Right.
this
Yeah.
slamming doors at each other because
Yeah. Yeah.
nobody wants the other person in their
Right. Right. Right.
so it was so loving, and I'm like, God, please let this continue forever. Let
Yeah.
somebody go and say I love you and good night to them, to each other. They want to be by itself. And so it just came into my head, but that is a good analogy of
Yeah.
us as children, look like that child kind of love, and
Yes. Yeah.
just making things work. I'll tell you, it is not easy, but
Yeah.
it can be done. So just to round up, if you have a last word for somebody that is just trying to understand, like, it is bad right now, it is hard, I really don't want it to end, but I don't see any way forward. It feels like a contract, it doesn't feel like a covenant. It feels like I don't know even know where God is in all of this. I don't know where love is in any of this right now that we're in. What would be your what will you say? What would be that word to them?
Mm.
Tadi, I'll let you go first, and then we'll have Pastor end.
I think I was in that kind of situation, more like when you come to a Christian woman,
Mm,
be in a relationship that you think that I'm a Christian woman, I'm not permitted to divorce.
mhm,
I that's what the Bible said,
mhm. Yeah.
I think a lot of us have been trapped into abusive relationship just because of we think about, so I was there. I was in that situation. I was there when I laid down on my pillow. I cried all night. I was there when I was by myself at home all throughout the night.
Mm,
But I was there. I was dying in silence. Nobody knew. I'll go to
mm,
church and lead praise and worship like nobody else,
mhm,
Nobody knew what I was going through. But, can I say God intervened and all this stuff? He made a decision.
mm,
God sees my heart. I didn't want to do that, but God sees my heart. God don't want his children to suffer in silence, and God intervened. I'm like, for me, if going through abuse, it doesn't have to be physical abuse. Sometimes verbal abuse, you know, can go because it affects your psychology, and
mhm,
it's just bring down your self-esteem. It's
mhm.
just like, because those kind of people will tell you that you're not good enough.
Yeah.
When you leave, there's nobody out there that is gonna marry you or
Yeah. Or
even
want you even.
if we
Yeah.
want you. You are
Mhm,
just not wanted, you
mhm,
know. Those kind of things, those kind of words, they will just be clicking in your mind. Like, am I good enough? If I leave, is there anybody else that will want me? But
mhm,
let me tell you something. If you leave, there's somebody over there. Instead of you sitting down there dying in silence, because sometimes emotional torture can kill you because you
mm,
become very stressed and
Yes.
you know get sick and all kind of sickness, hypertension, blood. I've seen people that are on blood pressure medication right now because of the result of their relationship. They
mm,
just want to stay there, but
mhm,
they are not happy. They're angry all the time. They don't sleep, and all this, on their blood pressure started going up and all this stuff, and they they ended up on blood pressure medication. So my advice is that I'm not saying hey, hey, hey for divorce, but if that's gonna be like the thing, like, then I mean, you have to separate yourself. There's somebody out there for you, and give it a second chance. If you're already out, give it a second chance, because I've seen people again that are already out. They'll tell themselves, that I'm never gonna uh, get myself into that kind of situation again. I'm never gonna marry again. I'm never gonna give anybody chance. I'm never gonna trust anybody. I'm never gonna give my heart to anybody.
mm.
Give it a try. There's somebody out there. Not everybody is the same.
Yeah.
Don't just bunch everybody into one category. It's like, hey, all men then are the same. No, all
No.
men are not the same.
Yeah.
I will never say that, and I will never accept that all men are the same.
Yeah.
Men are different. You get somebody in your life that is very caring, that will even make for you breakfast on your birthday, and
No. Ooh, I can see that.
and go wake you up. It's like,
Make sure that it's been taped. Okay, make sure that tape.
It's on tape.
All right, I like that. That's cool too.
and go
Mhm.
wake you up and say, hey, come
Yeah.
to eat your breakfast. It's your birthday. And there's
Oh.
somebody there that to declare the whole weekend as your birthday. It's like not just
Ooh,
Friday, but
not
when
just Friday. Ooh.
Saturday, Sunday. So there is somebody
I
out
know,
there.
right?
Is it still recording?
I have to say that, but that's what I did not get. But now I'm
Yeah,
getting it. I have to say that, like, there's somebody there for you that will do that for you.
that is
So
beautiful.
from my point of view, somebody comes with that, I will probably tell them that first of all, I'll try to make sure that I understand what they're saying
Mm-hmm.
because you know what, in life, some of those things are real. Sometimes it's not. It does not. It is not because somebody even treating you bad. Sometimes it's what you are going through in your own life. Sometimes you're going through some mental problems. You don't feel appreciated. Sometimes that person giving you everything. I mean, they're doing everything for you, and you just find yourself in a place where you just cannot. It's just like you're at the end of the road. You know, like you going to school, and then all of a sudden it's like I just don't want to do that anymore. You know, job. I don't want to go to work. You know, so sometimes you have those things that happens to us
Mm-hmm.
where we feel kind of tired. And what the Bible say, be steadfast and movable. That's the reason why it says that.
Mm.
Continue, continue, because they know those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. There
Mm-hmm.
is something that's about the more you do things, is something you can. So people that go through those things, you first of all, you don't say, you know what, you're a coward, rise up. You say, you know what, I understand maybe it can get difficult. Another key thing you tell a person is really focus on the relationship. Sometimes when you see you have those outside things, those distractions, they can create problem. Then you don't want to focus on your relationship and say, let's make things work. Let us first of all find out what are the sources of our contention. Is it
Mm.
about a financial thing with that? If it's another person that I'm really worried, that girl that you're talking to, or that man that you texting to, you know, that is what is causing, or that mother-in-law that is just interfering in our relationship. You begin
Mm-hmm.
to try to figure out what is the source. Can we figure out where is that coming from? We used to, we loved each other, we were friends, we got married,
Yeah.
but something is happening right now. Is it because we are getting tired? Is it
Mm.
because we're losing our patience and our focus? Is it somebody else that we are interested in? Is it because now I begin to limit you? That's not what I wanted. I was
Mm-hmm.
hoping by now I would have a big house and we're still renting, so I'm not having my financial goal. Is that what is caused? So what is the source? And it's the last one I would say. Sometimes it pays. We have people who go to school for counseling.
Mm-hmm.
We have ministers who sometimes it's good to meet somebody, especially as early as possible. Say, you know what, I'm really struggling. It is
Yeah.
not a sign of weakness.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, that's really a sign of strength where you maybe
Yeah.
somebody, a prayer partner that you have. You say, hey, I want to talk with you. Say, you know what, man, please pray with me because we are going through really a tough time and they might, you know, and especially those in professional counseling who can ask you the right question.
Yeah.
But divorce should not be
Yep.
the first. It should it's be some, it's not even be on the list. No, I will
Mm-hmm.
always say if you feel like when you have to make a choice between your life
Mm-hmm.
and marriage,
Yeah.
that is where you begin to really think seriously. If you say,
Mm-hmm.
if I stay there, that person's really going to kill me. All what they're
Yep.
saying is kill me. You ask, do I want to be married or do I want to be dead? At
That
you,
is a very,
it's
very good.
right. It
Yeah.
should be,
Yep.
you know, it should be an easy answer.
Yep.
But yeah, but those professionals that you can talk to, and when I say professional, it could just be a friend that you trust, not that friend that's going to tell you what you want to hear. Because there are some friends that say, "Leave him alone. I'm here for you." But yeah, it's and but also to just remember that it's a the picture that we paint of marriage, with no matter how many divorces we have, marriage is a beautiful thing. We want to tell everybody that
Yeah.
it is from God. It's an institution that God created. It's a beautiful thing that we begin to look at all those marriages that are examples, and that's for us. That's what we're talking about. We
Mm-hmm.
want our marriage to be something that people look at and they're like, wow, wow, this is
Yeah.
beautiful. I want to. So that thing, we begin to look at the positive side of marriage rather than looking at all those negative things and
Negative.
problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is beautiful. Thank you so much, Pastor and Mrs. Leitang. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom. I pray that God bless your home. God bless
Amen.
everything you put your hands to
Amen.
do.
God
Amen.
God
receive it.
bless your union.
Amen.
Laughter and joy and more breakfast will be yours.
Amen.
Um, many more date nights and
Amen.
Amen.
vacations and just time to enjoy yourself will be your portion. I just pray
Amen.
that you will not have anything to fear for each other. I pray God's
Beautiful. Thank
blessings
you. Yes,
over
Lord.
your
Amen.
lives. I
Amen.
pray that your children will see you and see
Mm,
that
mm.
God kind of marriage in you.
Amen.
That the people that you shepherd, they will see your home as an example,
Yes.
that some a
Yes.
light that they wanna follow and they wanna but to draw from. I pray
Mm,
provision
mm.
and exponential financial blessings over your life.
Amen.
And
Amen.
Really focus on the relationship. Sometimes when you see you have those outside things, those distractions, they can create problem, and you don't want to focus on your relationship and say let's make things work. Let us first of all find out what are the sources of our contention. Is it
mm,
about a financial thing with that? If it's another person that I'm really worried, that girl that you're talking to, or that man that you texting to, that is what is causing, or that mother-in-law that is just interfering in our relationship. You begin
mhm,
to try to figure out what is the source. Can we figure out where is that coming from? We love each other. We were friends. We got married.
yeah.
But something is happening right now. Is it because we are getting tired? Is it
Mm.
because we're losing our patience and our focus?
Reminder, you have what it takes, you just have to say it. Be a student. Only you can do what you're created to do. Visit our website www.sistersletstalk.com. That is www.sistersletstalk.com. Ask a question, leave a comment, or let us know how you're holding up. Subscribe to Sisters Let's Talk wherever you listen to podcasts. We want you to be the first to know when another episode is ready. One tiny favor, sis. Let's invite other sisters to the lounge. Like you were mentioning what that foreplay is, like you come into my meeting, that's foreplay. Yeah, because I feel close to you at that moment and feel like I think it's more psychological that yes, you're interested in what I am doing. You are even willing to go out of your comfort zone to be in my comfort zone or in my space.
Exactly.
That can be a serious turn on for a woman or a man that normally doesn't get that kind of attention. It's like, okay, you're right here with me, like we are hearing the same thing together, we are talking, you are in my space, like I don't have to go and explain, because seriously sometimes we get frustrated because to my girlfriend I can start from mid-sentence and I end up with 5 words and they already know everything I have to say, and I'm trying to explain to my husband and I have to do like it feels like I'm using 60 or 100 words to explain the one thing that I could use 5 words with my girlfriend, because they're in my space, they know what I'm saying. So
Welcome. Welcome everyone to the Sisters Let's Talk podcast lounge. Today we have two gentlemen. We've said in the past that the Sisters Let's Talk is not only just for sisters. Today we have two brothers. Well,
in the lounge, and we are still on with our marriage series that we've been doing. So if you've missed any of the previous episodes, go back and listen. We have couples coming on. They've been talking about, we have different topics, so go back and listen. Today we are talking about sex slash intimacy in marriage. Welcome. I'm Lucia, and Fumi is on, and we're
I'm
just
Fumi.
right into it.
I come home and I meet that person praying and in that position of like, I am holy, like I am talking with Jesus. We're on the same part of the throne right now. And um, that just tells him, like, okay, I can't deal with that holiness right now. So I need to find my own space and go get holy somewhere. So, how does that affect your arousal, like your is there a certain mood that you're looking for? Is there a certain thing that trigger, because we're really trying to know your brain, seriously. That is what my goal of this part is. Like, because sometimes you're looking like, how have everything that has happened today and you still thinking that sex is gonna happen?
Right? Do you want to say something or can I say something?
You can go on.
First of all, before answering this, we have females right here. Okay, let me ask you something. You're in your prayer mode. What's your Bible? What's your Jesus? And say your husband comes and, strip naked in front of you. What are you going to do? Are you not going to say, Satan, don't tempt me? Get behind me? Is that not what you're going to say?
I don't know if I would say that. I'm probably going to like this big laughing because it would be like really strange. It would be like really strange for me.
That has actually happened a few times. But the thing is, I think it's two scenarios. Is you have made the intent that I'm going into fast and prayer mode. And as the minute you say I'm going into fast and prayer mode, then he shows up and he's like, yeah, hello. Like, did you not get the memo? But at the same time, though, on the flip side, the other thing has happened where it can't, he shows up and then, it's like, okay, this, hi, Jesus, I'll come to you. Because this is holy matrimony, right? And the Bible actually does say that your body is not yours; it belongs to your spouses, and vice versa. So, because it's holy matrimony, then we carry on. But I won't lie, there've been times where I've had the intent, I mean, like really, and then you show up like, yeah, this is kind of not the best time. Although maybe I shouldn't be saying it, but because then now you have to switch. You've been fire praying, and then now you have to.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's that switch that it is sometimes really hard to do that brain switch, because you probably have like five, I call mine Rolodexes. I have like five different pages of that Rolodex open. I'm probably in prayer and thinking about all the other Rolodexes that's supposed to be closed, and then you show me, it's like, how does that one come open right now? Like it takes it takes a lot. And sometimes you don't even have the energy to do it at that moment.
Right. So that's the point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was gonna say to kind of answer your question in a way, that kind of speaks to what I was talking about. Technically, the difference between the females and the males, right?
And man.
Like for men, I don't even know if we remember the name of Jesus at that point. For most men, we're probably not even gonna remember. I don't remember. Was I praying? I don't know where my Bible was. For most men, that's gonna happen. Like I honestly, and it's not even like I'm gonna finish and go back and pray. No, I'm done. But for most
The
females,
prayer is already answered. That's it.
just because you got like millions of things in your kids, just because for I don't know about Elvis, but like a lot of times my wife is like, don't you see the kids are jumping off, like they're gonna hurt themselves? And okay, can you talk to this one? I'm like, okay, I will talk to them. She wants me to talk to them right now, but you know what? Jumping off, I'm thinking, if
You want to jump off.
if he hurt his neck, I will hear it. Okay, that's no good. Let them explore. But you guys,
Whilst
like,
you're doing your
this is the difference.
exploration as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because my mind at that point is not like, what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So on the flip
Mhm.
side, with Elvis's question, on the flip side, for sure, it's for most men, but for most, because excuse me to say this, a bunch of women get a bit uptight and not relaxed,
Mm.
right? And then there is a certain part of you guys where most people, I know some of my friends, men, that would do the exact same thing as well. That, oh no, I'm in a holy moment. I told my colleagues, when my colleagues found out the type of person I am, because when you meet me in the beginning, you don't see this side of me.
Mhm.
So when they found out the type of person I am, one person had issues and they were talking to me about it. I sent them a scripture from one of those scriptures that talks about all the romance. You guys know what I'm
That the
talking about.
your body
Yeah.
belongs to your
Yes.
spouse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you have issues with your husband because, and I'm like, this is it right there. It's in the scripture. So because what they're saying is like, oh wow, Brian, you're a Christian. I didn't know. I said, who created that? Who created that? Just tell me about it. God. Oh, so I'm a married man. This is what he wants us to do.
Mhm.
In my house, anywhere, anytime. Oh, you're a freak. I said, no, this is a problem that we have in our community. And this is
Mm.
another Christian as well, right? A black
Mhm.
person, a Christian. And they think that it should be, first of all, a specific place in the house, in the bedroom, or you can't talk about these things because, no, it's in the murder settings. Um, I can't say everything is allowed or what. I think we're
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah.
So I'll see it.
Yeah.
Elvis can continue now.
So now looking at sometimes like when the man, you might come in and you find your woman, in that prayer mode, right? And sometimes you might just open up the door just the way they are. It's
Mhm.
like there are all the angels standing there just driving you away. So even if you had an intent, you will close that door without anybody asking you to close the door. You just close the door and change your mind and go somewhere else,
Because
right?
you met the angels right there at the
Yeah,
door.
and that's it, right? Then even if you want to go sit and wait and say,
Mhm.
okay, finish with that, then you come back, right?
Mhm.
Oh, when the woman finishes and the wife finishes with the prayer and everything,
Mhm.
good, the family is covered, and
Mhm.
then maybe she's coming downstairs or she passes by, and
Mhm.
you be like, she's still dressed like a prayer warrior.
Mm.
To touch it. It's like you don't want to go touch that girl, right? You're gonna dirty it. So you just allow her pass away, right? And that's the thing. But maybe
Mm.
at that point, the lady is like, "Yeah, I'm ready for you." But
Mm.
the physical state is not
It's
showing you
not
that
showing.
she's ready for. And then you forget about it. The next day, instead of you having some fried eggs and stuff, they tell you to search for your breakfast yourself. And you start asking yourself, but why do I have to search for my breakfast myself? Yeah, last
Why?
night you
Why are you
told
on
me.
timeout right now?
Yeah, last night you told me that you were in your prayer warrior mood. So you want me to fight against that, right? So situations like that would
Mm.
happen and it affects how aroused or the desire
Mm.
towards women. True, as Bright said, man, you might be praying, and once that comes up, you even forget what you were saying. All right, and after that, you even forget that you were praying before, prior to that.
Mm.
So That's just the way it is.
But do you think communication, like if you guys are at that point that you can talk about those things or ask those, why is it that it's hard for, like when you said, like I thought I was, um, like I was waiting for you to get out of that prayer mode or whatever, get back to how life is normal. Do you think if you communicate like this is where I was and this is what I was expecting, it it will help? And this is from both ways, truly. If we get to that point where we can, okay, hey, this is what I was thinking, this I was expecting, are you up for it? Or I know you're gonna have a different way to say it that sounds better than what I'm saying.
You might say something
Mm-hmm.
and be like, after prayer, after taking care of the kids, no, I'm not in the mood.
Okay.
Right? So now it will make the man to be like, okay, I need to wait for that signal to see
Mm.
when she is in the mood. Right? And that's one frustrating thing as well, because yes, you are aware that she's taking care of the kids, then she gets
Mm-hmm.
into her prayer, then you need to see the signs that okay, yeah, even though I've been so busy, I'm doing
Mm.
everything that I'm doing, I'm still ready for you. But majority of the time, maybe they've taken care of the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the prayer, usually a prayer session is an hour and a half,
Mm.
and you're there waiting. She doesn't even come downstairs. By the time you want to go open up the door, she's already snoring. You'll be like, okay, that's it. Right?
Truly,
So,
truly possible. Because
right?
you probably
Because,
were talking to Jesus and you saw Jesus lie down and you lie down too, and that was it.
and that was it. And all the exhaustion, right? So now you'll be like, okay, you're not sure if you want to disturb that sleep because it's going to then be like, even though the Bible says, woman, your body is your spouse's and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? At that point, it's going to be like, I believe as a man,
Mm.
it's just going to be like, it's a one-way street,
Mm.
right? And it's supposed to be a two-way street, right? So at that point, you don't just want to satisfy yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it might end up being that way if you just go and wake her up and then start doing things that she doesn't really want to do.
Mm.
But she has to do it because the Bible says so, right?
Mm.
So sometimes those are the things that, the communication will work, but at one point in time, you're not also sure where to go.
Where to go? So when we're not sure where to go,
Um,
any advice on what do we do?
I speak to a lot of the stuff that Elvis also mentioned. I think communication for me, like I always tell my wife, communication. For me, I love communication.
Mm-hmm.
Talk, even my kids, like you know. But I kind of wanna you communicate, and so for example, my wife has a prayer line every Tuesday
Mm-hmm.
with a bunch of girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like a mothers getting together and praying for their husbands and their children, blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah and stuff. And she, one came up to her. She told me this is the issue. Every Tuesday, this is what we're doing, blah blah blah. And then I said, well, from what time to what time? So she told me the time, and so yeah, so she communicated. That's okay, right? I mean, your wife will have a baby, and you will have to wait for whatever amount of weeks or months.
Mm-hmm.
You get used to it, right? So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. But again, back to communication. It got to a point where an hour and a half is turned into 2 hours and 2 hours and a half, 2.5. And like I said, I love like she's more of a non-verbal kind of person. But when
Mm-hmm.
she knows that I might be bothering her, because that's what I do best. She knows that I might be bothering her. She will let me know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I need you to leave me alone. She won't put it like that, but I
Yeah.
get the message. Leave me alone from this time to that time.
Yeah.
So for someone like me, I wash dishes. I would do a millions of other things, right? So by the time she's done, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time she said if I can join them, because one of the husband ended up joining them.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I'm thinking maybe he's waiting for his wife too long, so he joined the group. So
By the way,
I
that
said,
that was foreplay for her. Just FYI.
there you
When you
go.
joined, that was like a million stars added to you. So it's like, oh man, he joined.
How can you be talking of
I agree with
Jesus
you.
and being floppy at the same time?
Well, you
I
see,
agree with you
okay.
because
So
Please
let's break
explain.
this down. So, so I think it depends on where, like, how
if
your love
if you don't mind,
language. Yeah.
if you don't mind, one
Mm-hmm.
second, I just finishing something.
Mm-hmm.
When Elvis was talking about you're waiting for her either to finish with the kids and all that stuff and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? And you're
Mm-hmm.
waiting. So I kind of wanted to say that one of the things I do personally is why don't we do it together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if she was gonna spend 3 hours to put the kids to bed and do
Mm-hmm.
the cleaning and all that stuff, if
Mm-hmm.
you guys are doing it together, it takes an hour. And I do this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a testimony. Like I make sure in my head I already know what's going on that
Mm-hmm.
day. So
Mm-hmm.
that day, sometimes I'll be like, hey, I know I come home late. Leave the dishes for me. After the kids, don't worry, just go and rest. I know what's in my mind already. So the moment I get home, I get on and the dishes and clean up and everything, and I go right on up. Because if I come and she's done all these things and she's too tired, I
Mm-hmm.
know the kind of reaction that I'm going to get. Then I get
Mm-hmm.
disappointed, right?
Yeah.
Do
Yep.
I understand? Of course I do, but I don't because I'm a man,
Yep.
right? I
Yep.
should have put it out there, Elvis. Like we can be very selfish. I'm one of them. I'm not even gonna lie here.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I want what I want and that's it. I just want it. And if I don't, I get upset, right? And that's just I think maybe we're wired like this. Yeah, go on. I'm done.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that like you were mentioning what that foreplay is, like you come into my meeting, that's foreplay. Yeah, because I feel close to you at that moment and feel like I think it's more psychological that yes, you're
Mm-hmm.
interested in what I am doing. You are
Mm-hmm.
even willing to go out of your comfort zone to be in my comfort zone or in my space. That
Exactly.
can be a serious turn on for a woman or a man that normally doesn't get that kind of attention. It's like, okay, you're right here with me. Like we are hearing the same thing together. We are talking, you are in my space. Like I don't have to go and explain because seriously, sometimes we get frustrated because to my girlfriend, I can start from mid sentence and I end up with 5 words and they already know everything I have to say. And I'm trying to explain to my husband and I have to do like it feels like I'm using 60 or 100 words to explain the one thing that I could use 5 words with my girlfriend because they're in my space. They know what I'm saying. So if you are right there and I don't have to explain anything to you, that's like it has saved me how many words I can use that energy to satisfy both of us. So it is for me, that's what I um kind of thinking about.
And that's part of intimacy.
Yeah, I think that's what
So
it is.
we're gonna round up.
Mm-hmm.
We really appreciate that the two of you took the time and were brave enough. We asked a few people and they weren't as brave. So we appreciate your honesty and your candid uh, um, contribution. I think there's so many things that we could talk about with just intimacy and just sex and intercourse within the confines even of Christians. And then of course you broaden it out of us as Africans, because I think I can count on my fingers how many times I maybe think that my parents were intimate, maybe, so I think it's a good thing to talk about. So we just want to ask the two of you if there were any resources that you might want to share with us that we can share with the audience that you guys use. It might not be necessarily for sex, but maybe just in marriage in general.
They're just
Uh,
like self learners. They got it down.
Uh, Me personally, I like to read, right?
Mhm.
And in any area that I kind of struggle with or whatever, I will always kind of find a preacher that speaks on those kind of things. If I feel like, you know, as a man, I'm not, or as a husband, or as a father, maybe I'm not being a father as enough. Like I'm getting that impression.
Mhm.
There's, I usually would just go to YouTube and there are certain preachers that I listen to, like I'll give you what is this man's name? There's a bunch of preachers that I listen to on whatever it is that um so I'm just saying that yes, there will be all these resources that we can use, but like you guys said, part two will be good because
Mhm.
in our Christian circle, in our blackness, in our African community, these areas we are really lacking. And so
Mhm.
if we're lacking, how are we raising the next generation? You know, do I want my children to be in that sort of like, okay, our communication not good because maybe the way I was raised. Maybe
Mhm.
my wife was raised that sex was not a topic anywhere.
Yeah.
That's how I was raised.
Yeah. Yep.
How did I pick up?
Yeah.
I pick up by knowing that hey, I need to read up on stuff like this. There are books, there are people that you can listen to.
I, for one, I don't go intentionally searching for stuff. If I jump on it, fine.
He's born this way.
Yeah, but I will say, like in my household, it went from listening to normal music to Christian music 24/7, and some preachers. And I must say, there are certain preachers that come up. I don't even know who they are, but
Mhm.
my wife knows it. So she puts it on, and I might be passing by, and they may be talking about it, and I'll be like, okay. And I'll sit and listen, just as you said. There's so many stuff
Mhm.
out there, preachers on YouTube and everything that touch on all these topics. So that's just how I get onto them, but I don't really get onto it intentionally. And I
Mhm.
must say, as a father, with kids, this is the most scariest part
Mm.
for me,
Yeah.
this conversation to my
Yeah.
kids. I don't know how I'm going to tackle it because
Mhm.
nobody tackled it with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a self learner.
Mhm.
So I don't know how I'm going to do it with the kids. So that's the most dreaded part of being a father,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I'm also happy that my wife, she is quite prayerful, which is
Mhm.
really good.
Mhm.
And, I believe she will be more instrumental in that. And I'll just be the support behind it. So I'll be like, do
I
this.
like how he nicely said that. Like he is so. If you guys should see his face, like how he's so confident. It's.
Right? So when I know there is some roadblocks, I might come in with some scientific terms to support
Mhm.
and push it forward. So yeah, so to pinpoint the right resources right now, I'll be misleading anybody. So it's
Okay.
just,
Yeah. I seriously, I think this is a very candid start to this conversation. We're very, I don't know even what the word to say that we're going to have all this conversation in one sitting, but no, we cannot. So thank you, gentlemen.